Hey guys, this is Mark Yo here again. Welcome back to my channel. So I've been using the latest POCO X3 GT for 1 week already. This is the first MediaTek Dimensity 1100 phone launched globally. And this phone is selling from 1299 ringgit Malaysia for the base model. During my usage, there are things that I like about this phone, but there are things that I wish POCO could have done better. Let me share with you all one by one. Let's talk about the things that I like, which is what POCO is promoting, which is the MediaTek Dimensity 1100 chipset. Based on the AnTuTu test that I've done, I can safely conclude that the Dimensity 1001 chipset is equivalent to Snapdragon 860, which is also found on POCO X3 Pro. To be honest, this is an efficient chipset. Daily activity is smooth. Gaming on this phone is also enjoyable. You can have S-Mode 9 at 60 frames per second, PUBG at Smooth Extreme, and also Max at HDR Ultra. When I play Genshin Impact, at 60 frames per second also no issue, and very less heat produced after playing games due to the liquid cooling 2.0 technology, which is quite efficient. So the POCO X3 GT really live up to the gaming phone at this budget. Next is battery life. This phone has a 5000 mAh battery capacity. Normal use without gaming, I can get screen on time of 8 to 9 hours with 2 days of battery life. This is a battery beast. And if I play games, the screen on time of this phone can last around 6 hours plus, which is very good already. The most impressive part is that this phone supports 67 watt of turbo charging. You can see the turbo charger here. And 0 to full charging on the 5000 mAh battery takes around 42 minutes, which is insane. As for the build quality of the POCO X3 GT, the whole phone is made of plastic, but fortunately, when you tap it, it still feels sturdy, and even the frame is made of plastic. Except for the screen, it's made of Corning Gorilla Glass Victus, which is very tough against drop and scratch. And the Victus Glass so far is only available in flagship phones like Mi 11 and the Samsung S21 series. The POCO X3 GT uses IPS LCD screen with 1080p Full HD Plus resolution. Fortunately, the screen supports 120Hz refresh rate, which makes scrolling smoother. The quality of the POCO X3 GT screen is similar to POCO X3 NFC and X3 Pro, but still not as good as Mi 10T Pro, which I used last year. However, for this price, POCO is charging customer. I would expect to get AMOLED screen instead. The POCO X3 GT has a triple camera setup, 64 megapixel main shooter, 8 megapixel ultra wide lens, and 2 megapixel macro lens. Nothing great to shout about the cameras, and daytime shot for main shooter and ultra wide lens is okay as normal. Night mode for the main lens is average, but the quality goes down when switching to ultra wide lens, even with night mode on. And macro lens perform okay. Stabilization can only be enabled at 1080p at 30 frames per second. However, even with stabilization enabled, also the video footage comes up blurry at some part. Overall, the camera performance of this phone is just average. We have come to the last part, the dual stereo speakers of this phone, which is powered by Dolby Atmos. However, from my testing, the sound output from this phone sounded average. Loudness and bass is a bit underwhelming. To make things worse, when you listen to news and reviews, whereby human voice is concerned, you have to bump up the volume to around 70 to 80% at least to be able to listen clearly. A bit disappointed with the dual stereo speaker setup on this phone. Hopefully, POCO can address this via software update if possible. So there you go guys, my full review of the POCO X3 GT. For 1299 ringgit starting price, I don't think that this is a good price positioning for the X3 GT. You actually have a better and much cheaper choice, which is POCO X3 Pro, which also perform almost the same literally. Or by adding extra 100 ringgit, POCO F3 would be a much better choice with better screen, better performance, better speakers. Do let me know if you have any questions. Until then, take care, stay safe, and peace guys.